Hello everyone, I'm Mike Kruger from Weather NorCal. You are watching NorCal Ag, sponsored by Lassen Canyon Nursery. We are on the Nash Ranch, and a lot of times you think of when it's, first of all, before we get going, I always do that. Got to introduce our guest here. This is Bob Nash from Nash Ranch, right?
Right.
So there we go.
Bob.
And Bob is the owner of Nash Ranch, and again, we think about pumpkins.
Yeah.
But that's not what you all are, what you are just about. You do all kinds of great things, and one of the things that you have is a childhood hobby that has taken you all the way through adulthood here, right? So how did you got? If you notice, if you've ever been to the ranch here, you'll notice you're driving around, you see all these old tractors all over the place. That's all part of your collection, right? How did it all get started?
I don't know if I'd call it a collection, or we just didn't get rid of stuff when we should have.
Yeah. Maybe, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, you could consider it a collection, though, right?
It is a collection.
So how did it all get started?
Well, it actually started, I've always had kind of a passion, and it started with an old plow that my dad had. And at age 10, he let me pick it up, and I kind of cleaned it up and painted it, and he helped me get some new points for it. And when I was old enough, I was able to use it and play with it. And then
Wow.
when my daughter graduated from high school for her high school senior project, she actually took it apart and restored it, completely sandblasted it and painted it.
And that was probably neat, because that was something you had, and then your daughter goes ahead and does something with it as well.
We took it down to the fair, and she showed it, and
wow,
got a ribbon and all that stuff.
So this is, I think of myself and many other kids, Tonka trucks, Tonka tractors.
Oh,
right?
I had a collection of
I'm
those
sure you
too.
had those, right?
Yeah.
and then of course we grow up, and it's like, all right, I'm not a tractor person, but obviously this is something that followed you through adulthood here. So what do we have here? I mean, again, we could talk about all your tractors, but what do we have here behind us?
Well, this is actually our main farm plowing tractor.
Oh wow.
But it's not very new. It's a 1969 Caterpillar Model D5. And the D5 is interesting because these older ones are actually built on the older generation D6 frame. Just had a much bigger engine and a little heavier duty transmission. But they're a great farm tractor because they're lighter weight and they have a lot of power.
Lighter weight. I love that. Yeah.
Well, we were using that old D7 for our main plowing tractor before, but my daughters were starting to help with tractor driving. It has a gas pony motor to start the diesel engine, and they couldn't crank the pony motor.
Wow.
So, well, it's time for us to upgrade. So we upgraded almost 30 years with this one.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this kind of from a historical standpoint. As I was driving here for the interview, I thought, farming has probably come a long way since the beginning of time, right?
It has.
I can imagine tractors and things of that nature really revolutionized the way farming is conducted, right? I mean, the way we farm today is probably even much more advanced than it was even 20, 30 years ago.
It's much more advanced, but it's still the same.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
But what the tractors did is it allowed farmers to just do much more
Yeah.
acreage. It really has revolutionized agriculture in some areas.
Well, that is awesome. Well, we could go on forever. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for your time. I know you're a busy man. Your son's just pacing over here waiting for you to let's get some work done. So appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And that has been your NorCal Ag Report, sponsored by Lassen Canyon Nursery.